Hey everybody, Nick here, and today we're going to do a little disassembly and maintenance on this little guy right here. This is a Boker Mini Kwaiken in the carbon fiber version. This is going to be a little bit of a thing because, well, this right here is the universal symbol for you're going to be here a little while during disassembly. The IKBS. That just means Icomacorth bearing system, and what it means, practically speaking, is that there are about a bazillion little bearings in there that I'm going to have to deal with individually. It's not going to be super stellar, but you know what? We're going to do it. First step for IKBS is to set up an IKBS jail. This little mat that I'm using here has rims on all sides, which means that none of these bearings should be able to run away. The perfect world for an IKBS disassembly would actually be like a gigantic satellite dish with no holes in it whatsoever that you sit in at the bottom with a table, such that they cannot roll away no matter how far they go, no matter how hard they try, that is. But alas, all I can offer you is this right here. So I just popped out the pivot, which was T8, and now I'm going to pop off these two scale screws, which are both T6. And that should let me raise off this scale, and then, yeah, unfortunately, as is the case with the big Kwaiken, this unfortunately has a set of T5 screws on the inside here. Did they move to T6? No, that's T5 still. All right, and T5, of course, is something that I expect to come before The Hague at one point because it is a true crime against humanity. All right, so we'll pop this out here. And I'm just setting these down in such an orientation that I can pull them back in later. At this point in time, you should start worrying because once I pop this loose, there is nothing keeping this knife together. And once there's nothing keeping this knife together, there's nothing keeping the IKBS bearings in. And they may behave well, but they may not. So you can see here I lifted them off and two little stragglers came with. Right now, this guy is not running so hot. It is running with, well, unfortunately, there is considerable kind of slowness to the action here. And so, unfortunately, it's going to need a little bit of love. And that's okay. I mean, that's fortunate at some level, but okay. So, what I'm going to try and do here, and this is a crazy dream, but I'm going to try and separate out the IKBS for each side. Keep all of the balls for one side over here and the balls for the other side over there. You can see here they're trying to pop loose. Oh, wow, we've got a couple of balls that were outright stuck in place, whether due to corrosion or otherwise. That's just not great. It's never comfortable when your balls are sticking to things. And so that's that. And then that leaves the rest of these guys over here. So what I'm hoping to do, like I said, is to take all these guys and then just kind of work on them over here and then isolate them. That way we have the same number on both sides again. I'm being maybe over-optimistic here. But, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And actually, I'm going to start off by cleaning these guys off. Am I? No, actually, yes, I am, because I want to get these out of the way. And so how I'm going to clean these off is I've just poured a bunch of rubbing alcohol on top of this little cloth cleaning swatch here. And I'm just going to roll these balls up onto this swatch here and then roll them around on the alcohol and on the fabric. And that will clean off any residual grease and whatnot that we see on there. And should give me a set of pristine balls at the end of it, which is what we really want in life. Okay, so then just kind of keep rolling, much like the song dictates. I don't even know who that song is by. I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments. But anyways, so that should be good. That looks like around the right amount. So what I'm going to do here is just move this little selection of IKBS balls over to a pocket on this side of things. That way I can then separate the other side. Because the other side has its own little set. And this should be a little easier because I don't have to keep them as contained. Come on. Yeah, you can see there's a very thick grease that's been applied here. IKBS can be applied, can be used with a thicker grease, thinner oil, that kind of thing. I mean, very often people use a thicker grease because it makes your life a little bit easier. But anything with a surface tension can work fine. Well, technically, I suppose everything has surface tension. Actually, I don't know that that's true. I'm sure some chemist can chime in below. Seems like it should be. Alrighty. Sort of one of those properties of matter. But, guys, I'm off the rails today, sorry. Then again, I'm doing an IKBS disassembly. We know I'm not well. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, where I'm going to pour a little bit of booze onto this, and then I'm just going to try and roll the little balls onto this guy here. And I'm just using my finger, basically, to pick them up and lift them into position here. Because they've got a little grease on them, that should work, generally speaking. And then I just roll, and I roll, and I roll, and I roll. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Beautiful. And at this point, these balls are also clean. So with that, whoa there. Let's go ahead and lift this off and bring it over to here, which gives me another area for all of the ball bearings to live. Now, at this point in time, barring stragglers, and there will be see, look, straggler. Barring stragglers, there should be all of the necessary balls over there, so I can just treat this more like a normal knife. Inevitably, though, I will find more balls out and about. The nice thing about IKBS, though, is that if you're missing a couple, no one's hurting too badly. You know, absolutely you don't want to lose all of your balls, but, you know, just like humans, even if you're missing one, not a huge deal. Of course, my sympathies to people who are missing one. I'm sure that's still not pleasant. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry. I should not do more than one of these disassemblies in a sitting. I think by the end I'm a little punchy, or just jackassy. So I'm using this pointed little Q-tip here, and that'll let me get up inside the IKBS race and degunk a little bit. Because that's all I'm looking to do with my life, is degunk a little bit. And you can see here just evidence from this grease here. Go ahead and clean out on this side as well. Again, I'll switch this over here. Beautiful. I'm going to use a little bit of the booze to get up inside there, up inside here. Beautiful. The blade is now, at least for my purposes, pretty damn clean. Can't argue with that. Let's go after the liners here. Everything's looking okay. Beautiful. Pop that loose. Just clean, clean, clean. Then on this side, ew, this pivot is coated in something that went rancid. Okay, come on. I can strain all of the IKBS balls, then my freaking pivot goes flying across the room? Really, Nick? Really? Anyways, back at the ranch. So yeah, the pivot was covered in something that gunked right up. And so by cleaning this off, I will improve the action substantially, I suspect. Because anytime you have an oil that goes, I don't want to say bad, but just goes sticky, the knife becomes a lot less pleasant to use. This is one of those times when I kind of wish I had like an ultrasonic cleaner handy. You know, people are always like, Nick, why don't you get one? Well, because I don't want to have more crap. Like, nobody believes me when I say this because I have, like, a bazillion pocket knives around. But I consider myself a minimalist. I know. And so, you know, having a unitasker, a thing that really only works well for one thing, on my desk all the time, not something I feel the super need to have. And it would also, you know, that's not something most people have access to. So as I'm doing these disassemblies, it'll be just like a little bit of, well, this is what I'm going to do. You're up a creek, though. So, yeah. Is this what I was just using? Yeah, it is. All right. Clean that off. Clean that off. It's worth saying that I could actually take this other side off. The thing is, I don't need to. There's nothing going on in the back of this knife that affects its function, necessarily. And, you know, yeah, so there's not a whole lot of reason to remove this screw, and then these, I'm sorry, this screw and then these three over here. It's just going to have the opportunity to strip out some very small screws, and I don't need that opportunity in my life. The world is full of opportunities. I don't want that to be one of them. Okay, so reassembly time. Let's go ahead and put this back together. So first off, okay, it's worth noting that the pivot here is D-shaped. So that means that the pivot is going to need to be facing in a specific direction as we reassemble this guy, which does add, unfortunately, the D shape on it is on the other side. It's on the top side that we set down on top of the pivot, which is not great, honestly, because that just means that, well, as I'm trying to fiddle with keeping all the balls in position, I'm also going to be worried about that. So I got 99 problems, and that is absolutely one of them. Let's go ahead and put this guy back together. I have a choice right now. I can use the thicker nano oil here, or I can use the thinner stuff, or I could use Dewa Real Oil, which is kind of slightly intermediate in terms of viscosity. You tend to get a better action if you use the thinner stuff, and generally you need lubrication to put an IKBS knife back together. It's a simple fact, and so as a part of this process, I do need to really flood this pivot area here. And as a part of that process as well, yeah. So, just a second here, move these back into position. So I will be kind of requiring the higher viscosity of that oil as I'm dropping these guys back into position to kind of hold on to the bearings. Using these tweezers here, and the bearings are definitely wanting to stick to the tweezers. But using the little groove here, this groove is crucial. I can get there. Come on, go home. Then once you've got a little bit of lubrication up on your tweezers, it makes it actually easier to do this, because you can grab a couple of them at a time with that lubrication and kind of move them around just by the surface tension of that lubrication alone. Okay, come off it. Don't fight me here. See, it's wanting to lift them up out of space too. IKBS disassemblies are the fiddliest thing I do on a regular basis in the physical world. Absolutely, I do fiddlier things with code and whatnot all the damn time, but in terms of meat space, I am absolutely, this is about as fiddly as it gets. I right now have 3 freaking balls hanging off of the tweezers. I've connected a 4th one. Oh, come on, come on, come on. You're so close. Go home. You want to go home? There we go. Okay. So, check this out. As I drop them all, I now have all of the balls into position here. I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit up here just so it gets into the 10 ball path. As we're doing this, now comes the magic. Go ahead and press this down here. At this point in time, gravity is going to keep these guys into position, ideally, if I don't lift the knife up and mess with it too much. And that lets me do this to the other side. This becomes a danger zone. Because I can very easily drop these little balls into the pivot shaft, and that's not great. It's not coming out. So my goal here is going to be to not do that. Actually, I'm going to try using the my little oiler here instead, which is actually a watch spring bar tool. And right there, I do a shot around the rim. But hopefully, this will give me maybe a little more control. Oh, come on. Easier to rotate at the very least. Once I get these in place, what I will often do is try and move, because I kind of, this side here is bordered by, actually, hold on, can I zoom in? Yeah. Oh, come on, you little bugger, get in there. Guys, You're killing me here. I'll center this up for you all, just because I care. And this is the low viscosity option. Maybe if I use both. Nope. Good Lord. You have to become the ball whisperer in order to do this. Actually, I'll use this other spring bar tool so I can maybe knock these loose. I almost wonder whether like electrostatic cling has become an issue in my life right now. It seems ridiculous, but so much of the world is. So I wouldn't be shocked if this were a part of the ridiculousness. Okay, the reason I'm moving these balls over is so that I can insert new ones in this area here where there's less danger, because there's not this back groove here. There's not the pivot. Come on, there we go. Okay, so now I'll grab these two, set them down. That worked. Whoa there. Grab 5 of them abruptly. And we almost have too many. If my buddy Andrew, who donated this, I hope I mentioned that, had just lost a couple more of these balls, I would be in tip-top freaking shape. But alas, he did not. Okay. So that's all the balls that are released in play here. Now I need to distribute them such that the remainder can go into place. There was that. Wow. Okay. The other thing to note is that some of these guys, it's very easy for them to get up onto the... Oh, man. It's easy for them to get in between the IKBS groove and the pivot. And then at that point, the knife will not close, because there's something in the place. All the balls need to be seated within the pivot here. So, whoa, that was almost bad. Let's drop this guy, these two in here. Come on. I feel like maybe these are somehow smaller than usual. I'm cleaning off my my tools here to get them de-oiled, but maybe I'm just crazy. Oh, you bastard, come on. So close. See, now it's wanting to pop that loose. There is room for one more of these. At least there freaking better be. Unless one of them came from the other side. I hope that's not the case. No, I think I can get that in there. I think there may be. Oh, damn it. Is there? There is a gap on the other side. Okay, guys, I am hashtag not a brilliant man, but what I'm going to try and do here is, and you can't see this, and I apologize. Oh, I'm losing my balls here, guys. Just going to put that on the other side there. No, 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 no. Don't pick up more than one, you bastard. Put it down. Put it down. No. Not like this. Come on. I'm going to need a drink after this. Mind you, I don't drink, so it'll be Dr. Pepper, but it'll feel good still. There we go. No, go, 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 go. Okay, good, 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 good. So we put this down. There. Now all I have to do is move this guy here. Go. Okay. Are we in? No. go. Almost there. Have one extra, which needs to go here. I think we are in a place where we can work. Right? There is still one more that needs to go to the other side. Okay, here we go. Grab this guy. Yeah, you want to come loose. Okay, fine. Come with me if you want to live. Real tempted to lose one of these balls right now. But I have too much retentiveness to do so. Okay, of course you're not going to get picked up this time. No, why would you? And we're picking up 1,000 balls, pushing them out of the groove. Okay, now, of course you want to stay on the end of this. I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to stay under the camera, but this is, in case you can't tell, a little fiddly. Okay, that's good. There we go. Okay. Now if I drop this blade very hard, I'm gonna cry. But I think we're good to go. Okay, we're good to go. Now, without screwing all of that up, 21 minutes, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm going to replace this scale. If there's everything in place. Do I have any more? Actually, I don't care if I have any more balls. I have too many balls as it is, guys. The pivot is, the D shape is in the proper position. Okay, I can breathe a little easier right now because the pivot is now, like this is now sandwiched shut, which will keep the balls in position. Now the next step is going to be to put the screws in the back here. Zoom us back out. Oy, 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 that was touch and go. Need to align the back spacer properly, then use the T5. Come on, Boker, you're killing me here. Use the T5 to slide in here. Okay. And unfortunately, I can't secure the pivot right now because I can't do that until the carbon fiber's on, and I can't put the carbon fiber on until... So I'm just in this state where I just need to hope and pray and dream that I'm not letting any balls loose down here. Although, again, like I said, I've got... the ball count is good. How the heck did that work out? Did I just screw up so badly at keeping the balls from one side separate? Maybe. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, so that's in place. Now, where's my freaking scale? Here's my freaking scale. Okay, I will take the T6, which is the second driver size that we need for this, because Boker hates us, and I will tighten this down. Tighten this down. Oi, oi, oi. This had better have the world's greatest freaking action when I'm done with it. Ay, ay, ay. Let's put this here. Do a little bit of Loctite. Actually, we're going to do more than a little bit of Loctite. We are going to Loctite the crap out of this. Now what I do is I'm going to pinch everything together, disengage the lock bar at some point once we're all set here. Come on. There we go. So we're in place. I'm gonna, now that things are in better position, disengage the lock bar. That can just help to make sure that everything is snapped in together. Whoa, that's way too freaking tight. Let's loosen that up a little bit. Oh yeah, that'll do. All that struggling with balls on knife 69. Guys, I'm 12. Anyways, so there we go. That is the disassembly and maintenance of your Boker Mini Kwaiken. Kwaiken thing that's just trying to kill me here. Let's be real. Hope this has been interesting to you, that you will be better able to control your balls than I can, and that you have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.